The following program is intended for mature audiences.
For months, the singer R. Kelly has faced federal charges that he sexually exploited underage girls and young women. But on Friday, prosecutors added a lurid wrinkle. They accused him of knowingly exposing two people to a venereal disease. An updated indictment said Mr. Kelly knew he had herpes, and yet he had unprotected sex with a woman and an underage girl without telling them. The woman, identified only as Jane Doe number 6, ended her relationship with Mr. Kelly in 2018 after learning she had contracted an infectious venereal disease from him. According to an earlier government filing, they met in 2017 when she was 19 years old. That's Faith Rogers. After Mr. Kelly performed at a concert, the filing said. In its new filing on Friday, the government not only identified the disease as herpes, but also added criminal charges associated with knowingly spreading it. Prosecutors have not disclosed whether the underage girl, identified only as Jane Doe number 5, also contracted the disease. Yeah, that's Faith Rogers. And this came out last year in June or July. I talked about it on this channel last summer. I just ran across this article. A lawyer for Mr. Kelly, Douglas Anton, has argued there is zero evidence Mr. Kelly knew he had herpes. Truth is, medically, anyone who knows will tell you, including the experts we intend to retain. That the first lesson of herpes transmission is that there is pretty much no way to know who gave who herpes. Mr. Anton wrote in a court filing last year after the government cited Mr. Kelly's failure to disclose a venereal disease ahead of his bail hearing. I remember that. I talked about it on this channel. That was last summer. They were trying to get his medical records. Prosecutors said they obtained Mr. Kelly's medical records confirming he had the disease. Boom, I just said that. The allegations related to herpes appeared in a new 9-count indictment filed on Friday against Mr. Kelly, adding to a case that was first announced last summer. I just said that too. In response to the new allegations, Mr. Anton said in a lengthy statement that Mr. Kelly's accusers were continually seeking to embellish their stories to make the alleged events as salacious as humanly possible. I said this in my last video in the comment section. What they're doing is regurgitating things from R. Kelly's first trial. But this go round, they're making it sound and seem more salacious. For example, in his first trial, we had the pee-pee girl. This trial, we got the shit eater. Federal prosecutors in Brooklyn charged Mr. Kelly in July with racketeering, a charge commonly used against mob bosses, and with inducing women to travel across state lines for the purpose of committing sex crimes. That indictment listed 6 victims from as early as 1994. One of the counts, which accuses Mr. Kelly of coercing a minor into engaging in sexual activity with him, carries a mandatory minimum of 10 years in prison. Mr. Kelly's legal team recently moved to dismiss the indictment, arguing the government improperly used the racketeering charges as a way to raise old allegations. I just said that. This trial is 98% based on his 2008 trial. Mr. Kelly, age 53, has been criminally charged in multiple jurisdictions and remains in custody in Chicago, where he faces a separate 13-count federal indictment. He is scheduled to be tried first in Brooklyn in July. This would be Mr. Kelly's first trial since 2008, when he was acquitted on child pornography charges brought by state prosecutors in Chicago. In that case, he was accused of making a 27-minute sex tape with a minor. That is on my channel as well. A journalist who attended the trial documented the trial every day. That's on this channel. Long-standing accusations against Mr. Kelly resurfaced last year after several women spoke out publicly in a Lifetime documentary called Surviving R. Kelly. R. Kelly is incarcerated because of surviving R. Kelly. After the documentary aired, prosecutors in Illinois, New York, and Minnesota filed criminal charges against the singer. Mr. Kelly pleaded not guilty to allegations that he led a criminal enterprise to recruit women and girls who attended his concerts to engage in illegal sexual activities. The Brooklyn indictment accuses him of producing child pornography, bribery, extortion, and kidnapping. Prosecutors in Brooklyn said his associates arranged for women to travel to see Mr. Kelly, when then imposed strict rules on them. For instance, he barred some of the women from leaving their rooms to eat or to use the bathroom without his permission. He was also accused of paying off women and other witnesses to prevent their cooperation with law enforcement officials and to persuade them to give false testimony to prosecutors. One woman who began a sexual relationship with Mr. Kelly when she was 17 told prosecutors that he regularly instructed her to make recorded statements and to write letters containing false confessions that could be used later to discredit her, according to a government filing. That's Azriel. Prosecutors said they obtained video footage of Mr. Kelly directing the woman to rehearse exactly what he wanted her to say to the media about the origins of their relationship. Azriel Clary. Mr. Kelly is also accused of bribing a government employee to create a fake identification in order to marry someone in 1994. That would be Aaliyah, who was under 18 at the time. She is identified in the indictment as Jane Doe number 1. But sources familiar with the investigation have said she is Aaliyah, the singer who married Mr. Kelly at age 15. If she's in the indictment, who pressed charges on R. Kelly for that? In a January filing, prosecutors said Mr. Kelly wanted to quickly and secretly marry her because they were engaging in sexual relationship while she was a minor. He believed the marriage would prevent her from testifying against him if he were to be criminally charged for their relationship, prosecutors wrote. Aaliyah, whose full name was Aaliyah Dana Halton, died in 2001 in a plane crash at age 22. Okay, so what I got out of that article is there are no new indictments. The Jane Doe number 6 was added to the indictment almost 2 months ago. So what they're doing now in the media is putting out the allegations that are in the indictment. And the part about the alleged venereal disease, that was out last year. That came out last year. I think it was in June or July of last year, if I'm not mistaken. And that for sure came from Faith Rogers. And also in that article, they brought up Azriel. They didn't mention a name, but we know that that's who they're talking about because she has said it on public platforms that R. Kelly coerced her into what to say before that meeting with Gayle King. So what I got out of that was, I wouldn't say that he coerced her. All celebrities have publicists, and before they do interviews, they are told what to say and how to handle themselves in an interview. And by Joycelyn Savage and Azriel coming out to do that interview when they did that interview with Gayle King, I think that that's what happened. I don't think it was him coercing her to make illegal statements to defend him. I think that his publicist got with her and Joycelyn and taught them how to handle themselves during that interview. Now, this young lady here, she just came out. She's doing a reality show. Her name is Sara. Sara is claiming that she dated R. Kelly for 3 years, from 2013 to 2016. And she has by far nothing negative to say about him. I've noticed that Teen Truth is threatened by vloggers and or bloggers with large platforms that aren't in favor of their shenanigans and Azriel. Little do they know, smaller platforms are just as powerful. Azriel Clara is content. Her name is attached to a A-list celebrity, not Lil Pookie standing on a corner with his pants hanging half down off his ass. All content that's put out about her will not always be in her favor or Team Truth. People cannot and will not be silenced. People are entitled to their opinions and freedom of press. Going to people's personal social media accounts such as Facebook, Instagram, and or Twitter to grab pictures of them or their loved ones to bring back to YouTube to personally attack them is cyberbullying and harassment. You can't expose or embarrass someone who shares pictures of themselves or their loved ones on a public platform. Criminal records are open to the public. No exposing there either. On YouTube, you can like or dislike a video. That means you either like or dislike the video. No big deal. People also have the option to flag a video. No problem there unless you false flagging. All flag videos are reviewed by YouTube. If the video is not removed, that means the video is not in violation of YouTube community guidelines. I'm not biased, and nor do I get personal with my commentary. It's commentary to me, nothing more or nothing less. It'll never be that serious with me. I can't see myself jumping on YouTube threatening to spit on or slap an elderly person or threatening to do bodily harm to someone just because I don't like their content. I don't have it in me to want to see someone homeless or make false allegations about someone abusing their kids. It's not that serious with me and never will be. I can't see myself trying to stop somebody's bag because their subscribers like their content. It's enough subscribers and cash app donations for everybody. Social media will never get there personal with me.